Hello, Trailblazers. Hello, Women on the Rise. I am so excited to be here with you today for our training that is going to transform your life. If not, it's going to shine a light. Actually, this is a transformation. It's really meant to shine a light on what is actually holding you back, right? It's not really lack of strategy or time or a lack of time for Instagram reels or the right thing to say or anything like that. It's actually those inner little saboteurs wearing yoga pants and whispering maybe later, right? So today we are actually going to talk about truly like what is holding you back, the inner workings of your mind, and the ways that we are really sneaky in creating blocks for us that don't necessarily need to be there. Okay, so if you are a visionary woman, you are here for a reason, for a purpose, to create something on this planet that may not exist, because guess what? It was given to you to create. So let's stop fucking around and let's start getting to work, our soul's work. And that's what we're here for. And I'm super excited to be here with you. We have a lot of new members at the Women on the Rise, so we want to celebrate you for taking the leap, joining this beautiful community of visionaries, of women who want to make an impact in the world. That's what we're here to do. We're here to support you. We are here to cheer each other on. We're here to hold you accountable. Women on the Rise, we rise together, right? We create an impact together. So if you are new to this group or new to me, hello everybody. My name is Leanne Jameson. I am a licensed psychotherapist and a coach, right? A women's empowerment coach and a holistic business coach. So I made that straddle from therapist over into coaching about 5 years ago in 2020. So I'm super excited to have made that shift and to help so many other women make the shift out of corporate and into their own holistic businesses. So let's see what has been keeping you back. Who's here for that? Who's here for that? Who is here because they know that they're meant for more? Right? That part of you that carries that big vision, that powerful message, that deep desire to lead in a different way, because many of you are already leading, whether it's your family, your community, your business, you're in, corporate and leading teams. That's you, right? You have this deep desire to lead in a different way, and you still feel like something is blocking your path, right? It's not lack of strategy. So who is that? Who is that here? Put a yes in the comments. If that is you, just put a hand up. Yo, that's me, right? Like most of us should be putting that up in the comments because that's what you're here for. That's what drew you in, right? So we're here to identify these inner saboteurs, right? These 5 saboteurs that just keep you sort of spinning and spinning and spinning instead of leading, instead of creating, right? This is not, good news is it's not about a lack of strategy. It is not about needing more certifications. It's not about needing more followers. What I've seen again and again and again with the women that I lead, in myself and the visionary women that I work with, is that these really subtle, sneaky saboteurs that keep us spinning in place, actually, they come in, I always say, like, they come in through the back door. Like, you don't even know. They're like sneaking in. And then all of a sudden they pop up, and it seems so reasonable and so rational, but these are definitely patterns that I have seen in my path. And like I said, in the women that I work with, thousands of women through my 20 years of being a psychotherapist and now a coach, of different ways that we hold ourselves back. And that's why I really created the Institute for Female Trailblazers, is so that we have enough external obstacles, right? There's a lot of like stuff happening in society that are holding that's one part of it, right? It's like there's so many external barriers that we as women are meant to overcome and bust through. We don't need to be setting that up internally as well. So I am here to really help shine that light on those limiting beliefs for you so that you can stop holding yourself back. Okay, so let's get into it. Who's ready to hear about those 5 sneaky saboteurs? Keep preparing, you keep tweaking, you keep planning, right? You're doing a lot behind the scenes. You are making sure that you have the right wording, the right certifications, a little bit more clarity, a little bit more time, right? A little bit of something. That part, right? Like the right message, the right leadership, just like everything, right? What is happening though? It is that it feels like it's productivity, right? You're creating behind the scenes. What it's actually doing is actually creating this fear of commitment. That's what's behind it. So it feels like productivity, but it's really fear of committing. It's this fear of the unknown. It's the fear of like going all in. Ladies, I did this for a decade. I would have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It was this fear of fully committing because it is scary, right? It's like, I'm going to go all in, and what if I fail? Or what if I succeed? That's a whole nother story. So you're waiting to feel more qualified, more healed, more of something, right? Leadership, ladies, leadership is not born in certainty. It's actually born in movement, forward movement. So this is how we can identify, right? Like this, I really want you to see. And I'm not going to shit on myself. I am going to tell you this right now, and it would have been helpful in the beginning, is that when we identify the ways that we're sabotaging ourselves, nobody else is doing it, we are. We do this with the utmost compassion and curiosity. This isn't about shaming. This isn't about beating ourselves up about what we've been doing and, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. Oh, how could I do this? I should know better. Stop shitting on yourself and anybody else, but definitely yourself. And this is about awareness. The awareness, because once we become aware of this, we can choose to stop it. The awareness is empowerment. Okay. So the almost already Amanda loop. Anybody out there resonate with that? Put I'm Amanda right here, right? I don't know what the next one's going to be. I'm like trying to figure out what the name is going to be. I think I got it. So just ask yourself if that is you, right? Again, with curiosity, with compassion, asking yourself, what am I avoiding by staying almost ready? Like almost ready. I'm almost there. What decision would you make if you believed that you were already like everything is done? Like, oh my gosh, mwah, it's ready. Everything's perfect. Perfect. Perfectionism, really dangerous. Everything is, but I know that we say it. Oh, perfect, perfect. I have to stop myself, right? Everything is already done, right? What would that do? What would you do if everything was done? If you believed that you were ready right here, right now, okay? What would you do? Put it in the comments. What is something that you would do? Would you go out there and talk about your service? Would you sign on clients? Would you call a business and say, you know what, I would love to present for you, and this is what I offer? Like, what would you be doing? What decision would you make if you believe that you are ready now? Put it in the comments. Let's hear it. We're looking at where you are now and where you want to be. Okay, there's some space in between that we're trying to fill here. All right, so that is the first inner saboteur. Savvy saboteurs, right? The second is the Over-Attuner Olivia. Guys, I don't know why I want to put names on it, but hey, actually I do know why. There's a reason behind that, because it actually gets it out of you. Like, you have less shame about it. There is a psychological reason, right? Again, here, psychotherapist, there's a reason, because you can name it, and then you can see it, and then you can call it out without a lot of shame. It just makes it a little bit more fun. So the Over-Attuner Olivia, you have a gift for sensing others, right? That's the attune. This is such a gift, right? Is to be tuned into others. You sense others, okay? It is a gift. You can hold space for others. You attune to what they need, right? Some of this can be a little conditioned. That gift, though, of attunement actually becomes a liability when you are constantly filtering your messages, filtering the way that you speak about your program or even the program itself, right? Your service, whether it's a speech or a program or a master class or a healing circle. When you are filtering your message, you are filtering your timing even. Well, it'll probably be better to do it during this time because this many people, like, we're constantly thinking, or your leadership through other people's emotions. When you're filtering your leadership through other people's emotions, their fears, their concerns, what are they going to, right? This is a liability. This is where it becomes a liability. You now have moved from being authentically attuned to others and being that space holder or being that healer, right, into people pleasing, into shape shifting, right? You mute your truth. And in doing so, you abandon your mission for the comfort of others. I see this happening constantly and in so many different ways. I was actually just talking to somebody about this earlier today, about just like we hold back our joy. We create a new we create a new thread so that we don't offend other people. Whatever it is. That is shape shifting. That is the over-attuner. Again, such a gift to be in attunement and highly sensitive. It truly is. I know that we have been told otherwise. But it can become a liability. This is where we want to be aware of that. So just take a little look at where you are holding back to avoid disappointing someone else. Where are you holding back to avoid disappointing or hurting or offending someone else? This is the way that we can sabotage ourselves because we abandon our truth to soften it for other people. So anybody in here an over-attuner Olivia? Put Olivia right here in the comments. Okay, again, with compassion. We're adding a little humor into it, Olivia. Okay? We're going to separate that. We're like, yep, I see you, Olivia. I see you, Amanda. And if that's any of your names, I'm not going to apologize. It is fun. Just accept, please. it's not personal. All right. The third savvy saboteur is the high functioning hustler, Heather. High functioning hustler. We're going to call her Heather, right? You have left. This is you, okay? Like, you've left the 9 to 5. You're like, that, right? I'm not doing this shit anymore. And welcome if you're new. I do swear, and if that is not for you, let me know. I will not stop it. I will be attuned to you. And that is definitely part of my style. All right. So you've left the 9 to 5, the overdrive. You're like, I'm done. I'm done working for the man. I'm not doing it anymore. You get into your own business, you start your own business, right? Or maybe you go to another job and this one seems like it's going to be real laid back, but I know that I'm talking to a lot of entrepreneurs here. So, because most of us visionaries get really frustrated when we're working for another company because it's not being run as effectively, ethically, or efficiently as we would like. So, so here's the thing is that you leave the 9 to 5, you leave the overdrive, you're like, damn the man, I'm not doing this anymore. And then you get into your own thing and you find yourself hustling again. Right? The hustle lives in your nervous system. You guys, that's why I have somatics built into my programs. We have monthly energy alignment sessions that we are working some of that stuff out, right? All the overdrive, the blockages, they live in our body too. So the hustle lives in your nervous system. You are still proving, you're still pushing, right? Just using service as your justification, right? Now you have added, right, liability or added investment. Let me say that because I like that. That's more aligned. You have added investment because you are creating your business. right? The truth, though, is that it's not sustainable, right? You've done that, you've been there. The truth, sustainable impact can't be built on spiritual burnout. When we continue the hustling Heather, right, we are going to find ourselves in that same loop. So when you're doing this and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not getting anywhere, because you're working from an old memo, you're working from an old paradigm, right? This old way of doing things that you were taught in corporate, when that you were taught in maybe your childhood, and the different wordings or the different statements that are brought in, simply, work hard, play hard. That was a big one that my dad would say all the time. He loved to play, let me tell you. So we're really looking at creating sustainable impact. And that's not going to be done when we are caught in that sabotaging behavior of high functioning hustler, right? So who's a Heather in here? Who's the high functioning hustler? Put a yes in the comments, put your hand up, put Heather, hi, Heather here, coming in hot, right? So just ask yourself this, right? If you're already in your business or you're in this space right now where you just feel like you're hustling, it's not going to come from that, okay? That is going to sabotage you. You're going to burn out. You're going to question yourself then. I've been here too, right? Like, because I came from that hustling mentality. I can hustle, right? And like just recognizing that. So questioning, just sort of asking yourself, is my service coming from overflow? Right? Because it feels, now here's the thing, when we are filling ourselves up, when we are fulfilled, when we are excited, when we are taking care of ourselves, when we are honoring our pattern and our flow, the pattern of flow, I should say, the pattern in flow, right? Not the old pattern. We're creating this new pattern. It comes from overflow because it feels good. It feels good the way that you're moving and you're expanding and you're creating and stuff like that. Or is it coming from obligation? This is a great question to ask yourself. Is it coming from overflow or obligation? Or sometimes how we say it in the program too, is it coming from inspiration or obligation? Right? That is something that Pilar, you see her here, she is our assistant at the Institute for Female Trailblazers. She actually brought that into, she came through the program many years ago, I think 5 years ago when we first started. And she brought that in of like, I want to be living from inspiration, not obligation, right? Because obligation is that pattern that we get into. So are you a Heather? And that's okay. It's recognizing it. We want to shift to overflow, right? Coming from a place of inspiration. So the fourth saboteur, is the pattern repeater Patty. That's what we'll call her. The pattern repeater Patty. Okay. So being able to understand what patterns you get into. You launch, okay? So these are some big ones that I see, right? Is that you launch something, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I've been building up for this. I am launching my program. I'm launching my masterclass. I'm creating this beautiful program. I have this beautiful speech, and you launch your event. You're just like, here you go, world. Here you go. This is out there. Now go and sign up. And then guess what? You hide. You hide out. You disappear. Right? You throw it out there once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. Maybe you actually do the masterclass or the workshop or whatever it is, the speech. But then you disappear. You completely disappear. Right? This is a pattern. Recognize it, right? And being able to just identify it and shine a light on it. You launch, then you hide. So I don't want to see anything. I don't want to, like, what if somebody, like, and there's so much under that. Like, what if somebody rejects me? What if nobody signs up? Oh my gosh, I'm a failure. Like, all of that is going on in your head, right? So you launch and then you hide. And another pattern is that, like, you start right? You start. I have seen this so many times. You start, you actually create like a 3-month program, you create a 6-month program, something like that, right? Or you create this beautiful speech and you're putting like little pieces out there. You get really, really, really excited and you spend all night creating something, and then you stall, right? And then you just drop it. Very similar to hiding, right? But you stall, you get stuck. You tell yourself that it's not ready. You tell yourself that it's not aligned. You tell yourself that it's not quite there. But what's really happening is the fear of being seen, the fear of getting it wrong, right? This is perfectionism with a spiritual filter, okay? It looks refined, but it's avoidance in disguise. So, is that you, Patty? I'm Patty. Put your hand up, Patty. The pattern repeater, Patty. We can get caught in this. Okay? Just be aware of it. So just ask yourself, if you're a Patty, ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen when I fully show up and I let it be enough? What am I afraid will happen if I fully show up and let that be enough? When we fully show up and just let that be enough, what are you afraid? Are you afraid of the rejection? Are you afraid there's going to be crickets? Are you afraid there's going to be judgment? Right? This is just about awareness. Okay? So, the final savvy saboteur that keep us stuck and spinning instead of leading, instead of creating, is the leaky leader, Lisa. Okay? No offense, Lisas. Nothing personal. Just came to my mind. The leaky leader, Lisa. You're holding space for everyone else. Your clients, your family, your audience, maybe your publishers, like if you have a book, you're holding space for the Girl Scouts, your kids' friends, your family members. You're holding space for everyone. Meanwhile, your own vision is slipping through the cracks. You overgive, you undercharge, you put your mission on pause, you put it on back burner, your life purpose, because everybody else needs you. Everybody else needs you. So guess what? You put yourself and your dream and your vision and your mission and your purpose on the back burner. Not because you don't care, but because you have been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over your own. Think about how often that's been like you've had accolades and just like pats on the back because you've done that. Like, yeah, you care so much. Meanwhile, you're worn and sleep deprived and have bags under your eyes and your hair's like this and you're like, yep, I sure did. Good job, good job, good job. Believe me, I have been there multiple times. Multiple times. I remember so clearly when I was the executive director at a treatment facility, and it was a residential treatment facility. And I was called in at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Called in for a crisis. I went in, I stayed until like 4 or 5. I don't even know why I went home. I think it was like 4 o'clock, right? I stayed. So I stayed until 4 o'clock. I got back up at 7 o'clock. And then I went in to run my groups and run the trainings for the therapists and the clinical staff and whatever I needed to do. And everybody's like, oh, Leanne, oh my gosh, like thank you. You're such a giver. You're such a right. And I'm like, I know, right? And we get caught up in that. That's what I call the martyrdom, right? I was taught martyrdom at a very young age. Oh, I know. I put everybody else's needs before my own. I'm such a martyr. And I make fun of it because I could have called this the leaky leader Leanne. Like that was me to the T, right? And I remember how hard of a shift that was for me to be like, no, my dreams matter. What I need matters. What I want matters. right? We're so conditioned to prioritize others' needs over our own, and it's actually applauded. Okay, so whether you're the Leanne or the Lisa, well, leaky leader, put it in the comments right here. I'm a Lisa. Leanne, again, I could have used my own name. Maybe I should have. Leaky leader Leanne. That was totally me. So pausing and asking yourself, where am I leaking energy that belongs to my purpose, that I want to filter in and focus into my purpose? Where am I just giving it away and leaking? Right? I think of a like a balloon, and you have like a little hole, you know, and it's slowly just like right? Or a bubble with like, you know, I don't know, holes in it. Although bubbles usually just pop. Anyways, where are you leaking that belongs to your purpose? Where are you giving it away? Okay, let's bring it back. Not everybody deserves, not everything deserves your energy. What does deserve your energy is you, the people that you love and care about, right? Your purpose. When we align with ourselves and our purpose, that ripples out to our family. It's pretty freaking amazing, actually. Okay, so those are the 5 sneaky saboteurs, savvy saboteurs, right? We have the almost ready loop, Amanda. We have the over-attuner, Olivia. We have the high functioning, hustling, Heather. We have the pattern repeater, Patty. And we have the leaky leader, Leanne. So whichever one, and you may actually relate to a few of these. Again, this isn't about judgment. This is about awareness. So then we can choose to do something different. Okay? These saboteurs are not flaws, they're patterns. They're learned, they're conditioned. And the moment you name them is the moment you take your power back. That's the empowerment, like I was saying. Your leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing. You have to have the willingness, and courage is actually the tipping point, to stand in your truth, to take the messy actions, right? To build what matters, even when it's uncomfortable, because it's going to be uncomfortable, because you're stretching past that comfort zone. You're stretching past your limitations, what you thought were your limitations. Okay. So if this hits home and you want to explore deeper of okay, so what are the steps? What am I supposed to do now that I'm aware of it? What am I supposed to do with this, Leanne? Come on, right? Well, we're actually diving into this in our live upcoming 5 days to create your soul aligned coaching business. We start on November 3rd, and it truly takes you through the mindsets and the actions to move forward. It's free, it's powerful, and it is your space to rise with other trailblazing women. We have such amazing, powerful energy during these workshops. So be sure to register so that you can be part of this powerful impact forward into your legacy. Or you can just message me or message Pilar Legacy, and we will be sure to send you over the direct link. So we're so excited to see you in the 5 days to create your soul aligned coaching business, where again, you will have more answers, more forward movement. There is huge energy. There is a huge, I keep on saying huge, this powerful impact in your thinking and your spirit. We've seen it happen over and over and over again with women who attend this 5-day workshop that really create movement in their business and their vision, and that forward thinking for themselves, and finally taking themselves off the back burner. So be sure to register. Super excited to see you there. We will still have a free training next week, but during the 5-day workshop, there are no free trainings. So happy that you've been with us, and we will see you guys later. Mwah.